I'm a 32-year-old woman, married to my husband Daniel, who is 34. We've been married for 2 years, and just recently bought our first home together. It was supposed to be an exciting fresh start, a place we could finally make our own after years of saving and planning. But from the very first weekend after we moved in, his mother Margaret became a constant presence. She is very traditional, the kind of person who believes that a household should look and function exactly as hers always did, and she didn't waste any time making that clear. She walked into our living room on that first visit and immediately pointed out the curtains. They were simple, neutral-colored curtains I had picked because I liked the way they softened the light in the evenings. She frowned and said they were bad luck, and insisted we replace them with the heavy patterned ones she used in her own home. I tried to laugh it off, but Daniel only sighed and told me to just let her have it, that it wasn't worth a fight. The kitchen was no safer. I had always been excited to experiment with recipes and cook meals that Daniel and I both enjoyed. But Margaret had an opinion about everything. If I used olive oil instead of lard, she claimed the food had no soul. When I served meals all at once so everyone could eat together, she reminded me that in their family, the wife serves her husband first. Every time I placed food on the table, I felt her eyes on me, waiting to pounce on something she could label as wrong. She didn't just critique what I cooked, she dismissed it outright. If I prepared pasta the way I liked it, she would push her plate away and say it gave her indigestion. If I baked a cake with fresh fruit, she would claim it wasn't as good as the family recipe she used. It wasn't enough for her to have her own preferences. She wanted me to abandon mine entirely. It went beyond food too. She mocked me for using the dishwasher, saying proper wives wash dishes by hand because it showed real care for the family. She made little digs about the way I folded laundry or how I arranged furniture. Every detail of our house seemed to be up for debate, but always with her winning the argument because she hid it under the word tradition. She would repeat phrases like, "In our family, this is how it's done," as if I was some outsider barging into a club I didn't belong to. Daniel tried to smooth things over whenever the tension rose. He would put his hand on my arm and quietly say, "It's not worth a fight, just let her have her traditions." But every time I gave in, Margaret pushed a little further, testing how much control she could gain in our home. I started dreading Sunday dinners, which were supposed to be a chance for family bonding. Instead, they became a stage for her criticisms. What made it worse was that she never aimed her comments in private. Everything was done in front of Daniel's siblings and extended relatives. If I set the table differently or used the wrong serving bowl, she would call it out for everyone to hear. It painted me as rebellious, like I was intentionally disrespecting the family. And because she was so calm when she did it, it made me look defensive if I tried to explain myself. The longer it went on, the more suffocating it felt. I couldn't even decorate our own living room without a battle. I had chosen light curtains because they brightened the room, but Margaret insisted they were unlucky and pressured Daniel until he caved. Suddenly, my decisions for our home weren't my own anymore. It was like living under someone else's roof, even though it was supposed to be ours. One Sunday evening, after another exhausting dinner of critiques and dismissals, Margaret looked directly at me and said, "A woman who doesn't respect tradition is unfit to run a home." Her words were so blunt, it felt like a line had been crossed. For the first time, she wasn't just criticizing my choices, she was questioning my role as a wife. I didn't argue with her. I didn't yell or storm off. Instead, I started writing things down. Every little tradition she threw at me, I made a note of it. Husband served first. Women clear the plates. Family recipes only. No dishwasher. No modern